Imagine a 19th century British man walking into a crowded public market. He holds a thick rope halter tied directly around his wife's waist. A man named George Ray did exactly this. He led his wife to the center of town, placed her on an auction block, and openly called for bids. In a market like this, surrounded by multi-story brick buildings and hundreds of shoppers, Ray conducted the sale in broad daylight. The people watching treated it like a normal business deal. Eventually, a bidder would step forward and pay a few shillings, or even just a few pints of beer to take the woman home. A supposedly civilized society allowed the public auction of a human being to be integrated into the rhythm of everyday commerce. For the vast majority of ordinary people in historical England, ending a broken marriage was a mathematical impossibility. A legal divorce required immense wealth, specialized lawyers, and a customized act of parliament. This path was reserved strictly for the elite. Poor couples fell into a legal vacuum. When a marriage failed, the state offered no exit path, leaving them trapped in a contract they could not afford to break. With the official justice system out of reach, working-class communities invented their own shadow legal system to manage separations. The wife sale functioned as a carefully orchestrated ritual. It followed a specific set of rules designed to mimic the weight of a legal contract. To be considered valid by the community, the sale had to occur in a highly visible public space, such as a market, a tavern, or a fair. The onlookers in the background were not just gawkers. They served as mandatory public witnesses, playing the role of judge and jury. The transfer of the halter completed the deal, signaling the physical handoff of the marital contract to the buyer. When this ritual was completed in front of the town, the community recognized the separation as a binding and legitimate agreement. Many of these auctions were staged performances where the woman explicitly agreed to the sale as a way to leave her husband. The buyer was frequently a prearranged partner participating in the theater of the auction. The husband and wife used the auction block and rope to satisfy the community's demand for property transfer, creating a public mechanism to sever the original contract. While some women used the spectacle to orchestrate an exit, others were victims of a grim patriarchal reality, forced into the ritual with no voice in the matter. A marketplace divorce was a desperate attempt to find a version of freedom, even if it required enduring public dehumanization to reach it. As the 1800s progressed, British society began to lose its tolerance for these improvised, brutal customs. Newspapers launched aggressive campaigns against the practice, and local authorities began using force to break up sales as they occurred. Despite the pressure from the press and the police, the practice continued into the modern era as a tool of last resort. In 1913, a woman testifying in court stated that her husband had sold her for £1 years earlier, showing how long these shadow agreements lingered. As policing became more active and courts eventually became more accessible, the community-sanctioned validity of these sales finally evaporated. The custom died because it could no longer offer even the appearance of a functional solution. History's darkest stories are found in ordinary markets rather than royal castles or battlefields. The truest historical horror is the sight of regular people normalizing a degrading practice simply to navigate the obstacles of their daily lives. Elite lawmakers remained insulated in their halls, while the poor were left to manage the brutal, pragmatic reality of the street. When legal systems are built primarily to protect those with wealth, the poor are inevitably forced to invent their own tragic solutions.